Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel as always, and I have another golf ball review for you today. We are wrapping up our Wilson line finally. So we've went through, all of their cheaper golf balls, we've went through some of their mid-range ones, and now we've tackled even some of the more premium ones. And honestly, it's been a very big mixed bag. I've had some that were just amazing and they were just top of the line, and I've had some that honestly were bottom of the barrel, especially for moderate swingers. This golf ball from Wilson is their top of the line that they offer. It is the Wilson Staff model. There, of course, is the Model R, which is the unpainted version, which I have already reviewed. I have that in the link down below in the description that you can see if you want to see that one. And I am a little nervous because that one didn't test as well. Now, granted, I tested it a long time ago. I had different equipment then. I had a different setup then. I was just kind of beginning my channel. So this one could be different. I've always loved Wilson Staff golf balls, especially their higher ends. Their Professional was really good, but that's been replaced by the Triad, which I had unfortunately bad results with just because of my swing speed. So it makes me nervous knowing that the Triad and the Model R, that they didn't test that well with me and my swing speed. I'm a little worried that this one's not going to be that great either, but we will give it a try. We'll definitely see if that holds true or not. Let's start off, of course, with the design of the golf ball. So I love what Wilson does with their top tier golf balls. You can see I love the Wilson logo at the top, just the nice white and black look. The staff is in just really professional, and it's got that old style house number on it there. You can see that's I have a 2 on this one, but just really nice, really classy. You look on the side there. I do wish the alignment tool was a little thicker, but honestly, that's not bad. I love how thick it is. I love how modern it looks, and I love how professional it looks. So it could be a little bigger, but I'm not going to complain about that. I love the fact that they did it. It's symmetrical, and it's easy to see. So it's easy to line your golf ball up. Love that. Love that they did that with their tour balls. Overall, other than that, it just has a nice, thick, shiny coat on it. It just looks and feels like a professional golf ball. So it kind of just checks everything off there. Now, something when it comes to tour level golf balls, I've been testing a lot of value golf balls lately, and when that's, the case, usually pricing isn't that much of an issue, because if the price is only $20 a dozen, I go into something with the mindset of, hey, as long as it holds up and is even with the other golf balls, it's good. But when it comes to tour golf balls, I do change how I review them, just because now we're talking about $49.99 a dozen, which is really hefty. I mean, you're talking your Pro V1 price, you're talking your Callaway, I mean, you're talking top tier golf ball, TP5X even. It's a very expensive golf ball, and I have to hold it to a higher standard just because, honestly, like when you test golf balls like the Wilson Zip and you test the Duo Optics or the Duo Soft Plus, those golf balls performed really well, and they have a much cheaper, actually about 60% less of a price point. So big deal there, so I am going to hold it to a high standard. Let's go ahead and get out to the chipping and putting green. Let's see how we did. All right, so out on the chipping and putting green with the Wilson Staff model. Now, I expect this golf ball to have a little bit more checkup than some of the balls I've been doing recently, just because I've been doing a lot of 2-piece and beginner 3-piece golf balls. This one is the top of the line, especially with that price point, so I expect it to spin, and it did not disappoint. It had a lot of checkup. It is a little firmer as well. It definitely feels a little firmer, feels more like your tour level ball. So you definitely hear a click when you hit it, but what's nice about the click is that when you mishit it, you know it in your hands, and you know it by the sound immediately, and you can just tell, which is something I haven't seen since I tested Bridgestone's top tier line. So it had been a minute. It was really refreshing to see. But overall, even though it did click, I liked the feel of it. I actually don't mind a little firmness just so I get that feedback. I just don't want it rockish, and it definitely avoids that. It doesn't come anywhere near rockish at all. Off the putter, same thing. It does make a click. You definitely feel it, but what I like about it is, one, it actually has a little bit of a bouncy ball effect to it. That ball really springs off well. I love it. I was really surprised how fast and how evenly it rolled off the putter face, especially for being this clicky. But it does make a click, but if you hit it off the toe, you immediately know, because it deadens the sound quite a bit and you can feel it. So there's a lot of feedback there. You're gonna know whether you're hitting it good or bad. So I could see a beginner putting around with this golf ball just to get a feel for if they're hitting the center of their putter or not. Overall, a really great experience around the green. If you don't like the firmer golf balls that much, you might stay away, but if you're not too minding of that, honestly, it was a really good performance. So that's good. I expect that level of spin with a tour quality golf ball. Now, it did decrease the forgiveness, because if you do chip it and accidentally have your face too closed, it is going to shoot left, and same thing if it's open, it's going to cut and shoot right. So I definitely would say you probably need to at least be an intermediate to great golfer in order to use this. If you're still learning the game, it's going to be tough making those mistakes, unless you're okay with making those mistakes so you can see them more clearly. The golf ball does feel firm for sure when you hit it off the irons. It's definitely got a click to it for sure, but it really comes off hot. You can see it immediately spring off the club, even on miss hits, which was really surprising to me. We'll get to that when we get to the numbers in a second, but I was really shocked at how much it forgave me. And really the feel, you know, I actually enjoyed the feel. I've been testing a lot of like 30 compression golf balls lately and a lot of two-piece, so it was refreshing to get back into a tour line and have something a little firmer. But if you're the kind of guy that just strives for softness, you're probably not going to like it because it is a little firm. And since this golf ball is a 4-piece, it is to be expected that it is going to feel that firm. So without further ado, let's dive into some numbers here. Let's start out with the 9-iron, of course. 90.6 on your ball mile per hour speed, which is below average, but I will say it's a little higher than I was expecting it to be because the Triad got way lower than that and it felt a lot firmer. This one actually was able to respond off my 9-iron pretty well. It wasn't as great as I would have liked it to have been, but most of the time when I use a tour level golf ball, I'm losing quite a bit of distance. I only lost like 2 or 3 yards, so I honestly will take that. Not a big deal there. 124.6 on your total yards, 117.7 on the carry. Again, slightly below average, but when you have a 4-piece firmer golf ball with a moderate swing speed, that's going to be the case. 23.4, so it launched a little bit higher. Spin seemed to be fine. This thing spins like a maniac, to be honest with you. Whether you're pitching it or hitting a pitching wedge or any of your gap wedges, anything from 100 under is going to spin pretty well. Moving right into the 7-iron now, hopefully the ball compresses a little bit better, but moving into that, 6,381 for the spin. That is completely average. That's right in the middle about what I usually get, so it's a mid-spinning golf ball. 108.9 on your ball mile per hour speed, so that's a little lower than I have been getting the last couple of golf balls I tested, but it is still above my average. So overall, I would say it's still a good number. It's not, you know, losing a massive amount of yards like the Triad did or even the Model R did back in the day. So like to see that. 162.5 and 151.7 are both above my average. So again, I have nothing to complain about there. And it launched mid at an 18.5. So all those numbers are pretty good across the board. I don't think I'm getting 100% out of this golf ball. It just doesn't feel like I am. Also, when I was testing it, I noticed there was a lot of high risk, high reward stuff where if you really flush it well, you can get 112, 113 ball speed, which is nuts. For me and my 7-iron, I mean, that would be crazy. My average is 106. But even on miss hits and stuff, it maintained pretty well. So it is kind of a high risk ball, but 108, these numbers are still pretty good across that 7-iron. And I don't think I'm getting 100% out of it, but I think I'm getting close. Moving into the 5 hybrid. Okay, so now we have 3,880 on the spin, slightly below average. So kind of a mid-spinning golf ball all around, except on the short game where it matters, of course. 117.7, so again, slightly above my average there. 193.9, 179.9, those are just slightly above average. 14.4. So overall, those 5 hybrid numbers are not bad. There's nothing bad there at all. Those are really good. It just kind of average to good. I mean, they definitely kept up well. The ball can spin. It can control. I can kind of manipulate it a little bit better than some of the 2 pieces I've been testing. But the numbers aren't really like crazy outstanding to justify $49.99. Let's move into the driver and see if they were any better there. 2,668 on your spin. That's actually really good. That's actually a little bit below average. That's awesome. 248.6. So that is awesome right there. 137.7 on your ball mile per hour speed. That is excellent. 228.6 on your carry distance, which is about 10 yards more than my average, and a 14.2, which is a mid-launch. So those numbers right there prove what I kind of had just said a minute ago. I don't think I was getting 100% out of this golf ball with my iron swings. I think I was getting 95%, 90 to 95%, but that driver proves it because once I was able to swing the driver about 93, I think, let me see here, my average was about 93.1. So once I was able to swing a club that fast and use the bigger head to compress the golf ball more, it really performed well. I saw a huge boost in my driving distance all over. I didn't seem to have a problem with accuracy at all, and it even had low spinning numbers off the driver. just phenomenal all the way around. I even love the launch angle too. It seemed to be launching a little mid, that way I wasn't getting it too high up in the air. But overall, and I noticed the other crazy thing is this guy golf ball actually forgives a lot, and I was not expecting that. Anytime you get into these tour level golf balls, especially 4-piece, where they have a high compression rating and it takes a fast swing speed, mishits off the toe usually just, destroy them. Usually it's a 15-20 yard difference. That's why they're meant for more professional golfers or better lower handicaps. But this golf ball forgave extremely well. I only lost about maybe 8 to 9 yards with an iron, and then with my driver I lost maybe 5 or 6 yards. It was almost nothing. So those numbers with the driver, I only had to delete 1 shot out of 12. So that tells you that it has really good forgiveness, and the numbers were still fantastic. But unfortunately, that does mean that if you have a swing speed of 93 or lower, with your irons, you're just not going to compress the golf ball enough to get enough out of it. Meaning that there's really no point in spending $49.99 if you're not going to get that full spin that you're supposed to be getting, or that full distance. Yes, it's really nice with the driver, but unfortunately you're going to end up with a lot more mishits, such as slicing the ball or pulling the ball, then that spin's going to be beneficial to you. So with that regard. Now, if you're above a 95 mile an hour swing speed, if you're 95 and above, I would even say it would help if you were about 97, 98, but I'll even say 95. I think the golf ball will work really well for you. I think that's a huge difference there. We'll touch on the closing thoughts here in a second. Let's get into durability real quick, which Wilson golf balls with the durability have just been fantastic since, we started this, and this one's no different. You can see the scuff marks there, but as far as the coating on it, it's completely intact. The Golf Dot didn't make it all the way through, but it actually made it almost to the end, so it was still really good there. But the coating is still completely intact, and it can still really hold a green, and that's after about 60 shots. So honestly, I'm really impressed with that. I think the durability is just about as good as you can get out of a golf ball, just as good as Titleist or anything else I've seen or I've reviewed so far. I think that if you are a fast swinger, if you're someone who is 95 or above, I think you should definitely give this golf ball a try. 1, if the price doesn't bother you, and 2, if you're looking for a high-performing golf ball that might improve your game. That's going to be the case. Now, as far as anyone else on my channel, if you're still learning the game of golf, if you still mishit the ball from time to time, if you're not that great at moving it right to left, if you're just an average golfer, just accept we're an average. I'm an average golfer. I don't use golf balls like this on the course. I can promise you I'm all about forgiveness. I'm all about consistency. Just have that awareness and say, hey, it's probably not for me, and that's the case here. It's a phenomenal golf ball, and I was able to get most of the numbers out of it, and they were impressive, even though I couldn't get 100% out. The numbers were still really impressive, and I love the design of it. So I would recommend it to those fast swingers who are not worried about price and who are looking for a way to get better, to give them an edge, to find that perfect ball. It's definitely worth a shot. Maybe you can buy a sleeve of them. But for everyone else, there's a lot more. The Wilson Duo Optics and the Duo Soft performed, for me, almost as good as this did, and it's $21, or it's actually $19.97 a dozen. So you're talking about $30 a dozen left. You could buy 2.5 boxes for the price of 1. So always go with that. That way you don't get upset when you lose them like I do. As always, guys, keep watching to keep saving, keep learning. More ball reviews coming your way.